This is great.
Yeah, I love it.
Make more.
Last time I promised you that I will show you my personal short-form content production process, and I will show you no less. But before we start, just a small disclaimer. Results may vary, and I will be super upfront with you on this. My versions, to be honest, all three of them, they kinda sorta bombed on all of the platforms that I posted them on. But my version is just an example for you, and I'm sure that you might make some fantastic short form videos out of them. I've definitely seen a lot of success among artists that pick those trends that I picked as well, and that is actually the first thing that I usually look for when deciding on content to make. I ask myself, is it new, relevant, trendy, and do others have success with it? Not all things that I produce could be answered with yes. As I told you before in the last video, artists can make many different forms of content, and some of them are passion projects that don't fulfill a trend. But today, we are not here to discuss that kind of category, because only you yourself can choose your passion projects. No, today we will focus on trendy things. And I will also be talking mostly out of an Instagram user perspective, because it's easier for artists to find and discover and save trends on there, in my opinion. But once you create the content, it is absolutely shareable on all of your social media platforms that currently have short form content. So if you watch a lot of reels as an artist and start saving art related reels and liking them, you will gradually be flooded by new trends that make the round, and you will have to try to strike while the oven is hot, so to say, and get in on the trend as early as you can. If you identify trends, make a folder specifically for reel inspiration on Instagram, or a saving folder on TikTok, and collect them like there's no tomorrow, especially if you see a sound attached to it that is trending. You can see that on the small symbol right there. Once you have a couple of ideas, make sure to click into the sound and check how many reels were already created using it. I try to aim for the ones that have between 1,000 to maybe 50,000 creations, because that means I'm still early enough to make an impression. If something is at maybe 100k created reels, I usually don't bother with anything complex, but I might maybe use the sound on a time lapse. So for the actual creation that I want to make, I choose between the types I mentioned in this video. I lately tend to choose between animations and animatics because I enjoy them the most. And even here I try to find the sweet spot between three different things. Making something that I can do relatively quick and easy with good payoff, making something that would look very cool, and making something that would challenge myself. I'll be honest, I rarely choose the last one lately because I don't have time, and I would usually save the challenging myself for a passion project because I'm not under any time pressure with those. So now with the real trends that I actually picked. The first one was the viral artist versus original character or creation challenge using Kate Bush's Army Dreamers. You see the artist sitting opposite the creation in some sort of carousel or spinning wheel, and the original character is sometimes a representation of the inner turmoil of the creator. Sometimes they're just very pretty to look at, sometimes they're creepy, and I really liked how the background effect looked here. It looked easy enough to make, and I wanted to try it out myself. So I saved a couple of the ones that inspired me the most into a folder and started making the background. I had to remake it a couple of times until it was a bit simpler. I think I went with only 2 to 4 frames in the end. And for the OC, or original character, I chose my long forgotten collapsing star Lumina. She can be a dream or she can be hell depending on her mood, and I love the concept about her because that way I can make it a bit creepy. So I drew myself first and I kept it simple again. I had about 6 different hair frames for movement, and that's that. For Lumina, I knew I wanted a sequence where she changes up, so I had to gradually change her eyes, and that took me the longest time probably. All in all, this reel took me about 6 hours to make, and here's the finished result.
But he didn't have the money for a guitar.
Should have been a politician.
But he never had a proper education.
Should have been a father.
I've seen some incredible creations of this trend, and those have received a lot of love. Mine was maybe not as emotional as others, so it sits at about 5,000 something views. So yeah, it's okay, I think. The second trend that I wanted to make was something of the sort of, ooh, I should be able to make this quickly category, and because usually artists make an animatic for this, I picked the following trend. It was about a wacky childhood crush we all have, and if we could tell our child self upfront that we didn't end up with them. I found some great examples and I got working. So here it's a bit more simpler, right? I just had to choose which childhood crush I would pick to draw, and I had a choice of Vegeta, Rufio from Hook, Prince, or Darkwing Duck. The last one made most sense for my color palette and for what I wanted to draw, so I picked Darkwing Duck. So there are just 6 frames in total here. Me as a kid asking if I married him, me as a grown-up in 2 frames asking who that means, and then my child self again pointing at Darkwing Duck, and my adult self saying no in 2 different frames. So it's fairly straightforward. I did add in animation effects with CapCut, with the hearts in the scene with Darkwing Duck, but that's about it. I think in total I spent about 3 to 4 hours on this reel. This one is very easy to make, so I think everybody can get in on it. It only sits at about 3,000 views, but I think it's sweet and some have done amazing with this trend, so it's just a question of creativity, I think. For the last trend, I wanted to pick something that would look really cool, but also with a twist, and I chose something that was absolutely outside of the realm of art. It's that Go Cry About It meme song that has been going around, where someone says something mean to you and you mimic saying go cry about it, basically. I thought it would be so cool as an animation, and to maybe even have a goth girl do that move. I haven't seen it done before, so I thought, why not? So I sketched out one goth girl really quick, and I recorded myself doing the hand gesture and rotoscope only the hand over the still image. And that was really fun because I really love rotoscoping. I won't show you that part because the video of myself is super embarrassing. But yeah, this one did as well as the first, I think. I really like the result personally, so numbers don't matter here. And this one has a lot of saves, which is always a good sign in my opinion when it comes to social media. So it's about 5,000 views right now. I also think it's more original to adapt something from real people doing the trend to artworks, so yeah, that's something that I always like to go for if possible. All of these were relatively good from a time investment perspective, I think. I didn't have to reinvent the wheel with any of these, and I had a bit of fun, so it was quite nice. When deciding on what you should make next, I think you should always weigh fun versus payoff and try to keep a good balance. Also, don't let any numbers discourage you, because any creation that you make is still wonderful, and if you like them, that's already, I think, worth a lot more than any kind of, viral number could be. I mean, I still use that clickbait in titles sometimes, making viral content or being a short form content machine, but I don't believe completely in that concept for artists. We really just want to create and do it as freely as we can. It's not as easy with social media, in my opinion, because we try to play within the rules, and use trends and hop on them. But this way, I think I can still keep a good balance. I hope it helped you to see the process from an artist that frequently creates short-form content. And if you liked it, please subscribe. The next video will also be about this topic, but I'm warning you, it's gonna be different. So watch out for it in about a week.